My best friend's ex-boyfriend sent me a threatening message. Now my boyfriend thinks I'm the one cheating. It all started with a text I wasn't supposed to get. I was brushing my teeth, half asleep, when my phone buzzed on the sink. The preview lit up the screen with a name I hadn't seen in months, Tom. My best friend Alice's ex. The message just said, "Tell your boyfriend the truth before I do," smiley face. I froze. Toothbrush still in my mouth, heartbeat suddenly in my throat. What the hell was that supposed to mean? I hadn't spoken to Tom since their breakup 4 months ago. It had been messy, abusive even. Alice cried on my couch for days. I remember telling her she was brave for leaving him. And I meant it. But that message? It was pure poison. I rinsed my mouth and grabbed my phone, rereading it 5 times. Then I did what any normal person would do, I screenshotted it and sent it to Alice. She didn't answer. Not right away. Instead, 5 minutes later, I heard a knock at the bedroom door. My boyfriend Nathan walked in, holding his phone like it had just punched him in the gut. His eyes were hard. Suspicious. "What's going on with you and Tom?" That's when I realized. He had gotten the message too. But not the same one. I grabbed his phone and my stomach turned. Tom had sent him this. "She didn't tell you about us? Thought you'd like to know," smiley face. I swear I almost dropped the phone. Nathan stared at me. "You want to explain?" I opened my mouth but nothing came out. My brain was scrambling, trying to understand why Tom was doing this. Was this some twisted revenge? Did he seriously think dragging me into his mess with Alice was going to get him, what? Attention? I've never done anything with him. Never, I finally blurted. "This is insane." But Nathan didn't blink. "Then why's he threatening you?" I didn't know. And that was the most terrifying part. The more I denied, the colder Nathan became. He said he needed space and left the apartment, slamming the door behind him. I stood there in my pajamas, phone buzzing in my hand, my world suddenly on fire. And Alice still wasn't answering. I must have called Alice 7 times that night. No answer. Just straight to voicemail. And no read receipts on the screenshots I sent her either. At some point, I started wondering if she was in on it. It sounded paranoid, but when your boyfriend storms out and your best friend goes radio silent right after a threat, your mind goes places. I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every interaction I'd ever had with Tom. There wasn't much. Just the usual surface-level stuff when he was dating Alice. A few double dates. One group vacation where he spent more time bragging about his crypto portfolio than actually speaking to any of us. He always gave off a weird vibe, but I chalked it up to insecurity. I never once flirted with him. Never messaged him. Nothing. I woke up with 2 missed calls from Nathan and a message, "I want to believe you. But I need the full story. Today." I almost cried out of relief. At least he was still open to hearing me out. I texted back, "Please come over. I'll explain everything I know." But before he could even respond, Alice finally called. She sounded groggy, or maybe just guilty. "Hey," she said, voice low. "I saw your messages." I didn't waste time. What the hell is Tom doing? Why is he messaging Nathan and me like this? She paused, then exhaled into the phone. "I think it's my fault." What? She launched into this rambling explanation about how after the breakup, she told Tom that she knew he had a thing for me. That he was always weirdly interested. She said she mentioned it in anger, not thinking he'd ever act on it. He was obsessed with control, she said, and I guess now that I left him, he's trying to hurt anyone close to me. I was silent. Did he ever try anything?" she asked. "No. Never." I shouted. "He barely even looked at me when you were together." Another long pause. Then she said something that made my skin crawl, "Yeah. That's what I thought too. Until I found that folder." What folder? She hesitated. He had saved pictures. Of you. Screenshots. Zoomed in on your face in group photos. From your Instagram. From Facebook. There was even one where you were in a bikini. From that beach trip. I didn't tell you because I thought it was just him being gross, and I deleted it all. I felt sick. Completely violated. Why hadn't she said something earlier? Do you still have any of it? I asked, my voice shaking. No. I was scared. I didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted to be done with him. I was about to say something else when I heard the knock. Nathan. I have to go. I'll call you later, I said, hanging up. Nathan looked tired when I opened the door. Angry, but tired. Like a man caught between logic and pain. I need to know everything, he said. I told him, from the messages to Alice's call. I even showed him our chat log. The screenshots. Everything. He listened. Silent. Watching me. And then he asked the question I wasn't ready for, but why would he say you cheated? Not Alice. You. I didn't have an answer. Not one that made sense. But something told me Tom wasn't done yet. And the worst part hadn't even started. I wish I could say that after Nathan heard my side, things went back to normal. But they didn't. He didn't leave that day, but he didn't stay either. He sat on the couch for hours. Silent. Scrolling through his phone, barely looking at me. I tried to talk, to hug him, to show him everything, DMs, search history, anything he wanted. But it was like something had cracked open between us. Later that evening, he stood up and simply said, I'm going to stay with Max for a few days. No shouting. No accusations. Just distance. When he closed the door, I felt something inside me collapse. That night, I scrolled through my own memories like a detective, checking every interaction I might have had with Tom. I went back months on Instagram, Messenger, even old group chats from when Alice and Tom were still together. I couldn't find anything. No stray flirty messages. No comments. Nothing. It didn't matter. The damage was already done. The next morning, Alice finally came by. She brought coffee and looked like hell. I had a panic attack last night, she said. Tom messaged me too. What did he say? She pulled out her phone and showed me. Funny how your bestie is still pretending she's innocent. You really think she never wanted me back then? Ask her about the night of your birthday. 2 years ago. I felt like someone punched me in the chest. Do you remember that night? Alice asked, almost whispering. Of course I did. It was a beach house party. A big birthday bash Alice threw for herself, 25 people, music, drinking, and drama. She and Tom had a huge fight that night. He left early. I stayed to help clean up and slept on the couch. But now my brain was spinning. What was he implying? Nothing happened, I said, staring at her. He left. You know that. Alice nodded slowly. I want to believe you. But he says he has proof. Proof of what? I snapped. She bit her lip. He said he has a video. My mouth went dry. Of what? He didn't say. Just that it would change everything. I started shaking. That's impossible. Alice, I swear on my life, nothing happened. Nothing. She looked down. Then why does he have a video? That's when I lost it. I grabbed my phone and texted Tom directly for the first time since this all began. Me, you sick freak, whatever you're doing, stop. I'm not scared of you. Tom, you should be, smiley face. I blocked him right after. But the fear didn't stop. Alice left soon after. She didn't say much. Just gave me a long, uncertain look before walking out. I was alone again. And now, the idea that there might be a video, a manipulated one, a deepfake, or something taken out of context, had infected my brain like a virus. If Tom really had footage of me from that night, even something innocent twisted to look like more, it could destroy everything. My relationship. My friendship. My life. And I knew exactly what kind of monster I was dealing with now. He didn't want to expose the truth. He wanted to ruin me. By the next morning, I was spiraling. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Tom's message flashing in my mind. You should be. Should be scared of what? Of something he made up? Of a lie he was about to spread? Or worse, was there really footage from that night? Something taken out of context that could look bad if edited a certain way? I remembered that beach house. The broken porch light. The cheap vodka. The way everyone slowly disappeared into rooms while I cleaned up the empty bottles and curled up under a throw blanket, tipsy and exhausted. I remembered waking up around 4 a.m. to someone stumbling past the couch, maybe going to the kitchen. I thought it was Alice at the time. But what if it wasn't? What if it was Tom? The thought made my stomach churn. I didn't want to believe it, but I had to be prepared. I called Nathan. He didn't answer. So I left a voicemail. Please, I need you to trust me. Whatever he's planning, it's not real. He's trying to ruin me, and us. Please come talk to me. No reply. So I went to the one person who still owed me answers, Alice. She was already at the cafe when I arrived. Hoodie up. Sunglasses on, like she didn't want to be recognized. I talked to him again, she said the second I sat down. I told him to stop. That he was harassing you. And me. I blinked. You called him? I had to. I needed to know if he was bluffing. I swallowed hard. And? She hesitated. He sent me a video. Everything stopped. I felt the blood drain from my face. What kind of video? Alice looked around, then handed me her phone. Watch it. My hands were shaking. I pressed play. It was dark, grainy, clearly taken from behind a cracked door. I could see myself lying on the couch. Sleeping, wearing the same dress from that night. Then, a shadow entered the frame. Male figure. Slowly walking toward the couch. He knelt beside me. I watched, horrified, as the figure brushed hair from my face. I stirred slightly, but didn't wake up. Then the video cut. Alice was staring at me. You really don't remember that? I was asleep. He filmed me sleeping and tried to make it look like something happened. I was nauseous. Furious. Violated. Alice whispered, he said he'd send it to Nathan. I stood up. Not if I get to Nathan first. I left the cafe and called Max, Nathan's best friend, the one he was supposedly staying with. Luckily, Max picked up. Hey. He's here. But honestly, he's a mess. You need to talk to him. Please just tell him I'm coming, I said. 20 minutes later, I was at Max's place. Nathan opened the door. His face was pale, eyes tired. I got the video, he said quietly. I braced myself. Look. I don't think you cheated, he added. But I don't know what to believe anymore. Why would someone film that unless? He's a predator, Nathan. He's trying to build a lie. We stood there, staring at each other, separated by a silence that used to be love. Then I said the one thing I never thought I'd say, I'm pressing charges. Because this wasn't just some rumor or misunderstanding anymore. It was targeted psychological warfare. And I wasn't going to let him win. The police station smelled like stale coffee and stress. I never imagined I'd be the one sitting there, clutching a flash drive like it held the key to my sanity. Nathan drove me. We didn't speak much during the ride. But when I told him I was serious about pressing charges, he looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in days. And nodded. That meant something. At the station, I handed over the footage from Alice's phone, the messages Tom sent us both, and every bit of communication I could dig up. The officer in charge, a woman named Lieutenant Barris, was calm but sharp. She didn't downplay anything. "This isn't just harassment," she said. "If what you're saying checks out, this may fall under coercive manipulation, unlawful surveillance, and possibly attempted defamation. Especially if he's trying to distribute doctored footage." She asked if I'd ever given Tom access to my phone, passwords, cloud. I said no. Then she asked the question that really made my skin crawl: "Did you ever suspect he recorded you without your consent before?" I said no again. But a seed of doubt had been planted. Tom had been creepy, sure, controlling when he was with Alice, arrogant to the point of being unbearable. But the idea that he had set something like this in motion, 2 years ago, made my stomach turn. Was this premeditated? Had he filmed me sleeping that night, knowing someday he'd use it? Or had this just become his sick form of entertainment now that his life was a mess? When we got back to Max's place, I was emotionally drained. Nathan stayed silent most of the evening, but something shifted. At one point, he brought me tea and sat beside me on the edge of the couch. "I'm sorry," he said. I looked at him, unsure what he meant. "I should have trusted you more," he whispered. "But it's hard to see straight when someone throws that kind of grenade into your life." I nodded, tears burning my eyes. "I get it. But I need you to be on my side now. Because this isn't over." And it wasn't. 2 days later, Tom escalated. He sent the video to Nathan's parents. Yes. His actual parents. I found out when his mom called me, her voice shaking. "I don't know what's going on, but this is not okay," she said. "You need to call the police." "I already did," I told her. "He's trying to ruin me." That night, a second video surfaced. This time, it was edited. A slowed-down version of the same clip, with eerie music layered in. It made the moment look intimate, romantic even. Like I had woken up and smiled at him. I hadn't. I knew I hadn't. But perception was poison. Someone leaked it to a gossip Instagram account that followed local university drama. It got shared. Then reshared. By midnight, my DMs were full of strangers calling me names. Slut. Snake. Liar. Nathan's silence returned. Alice stopped replying too. The world was caving in, and all I had was a police file and a flash drive. But I wasn't giving up. Because the truth wasn't just about clearing my name anymore. It was about taking down the person who thought destroying a woman's life would bring him power. And I swear, I was going to destroy him first. The next morning, I woke up to someone banging on my door. My heart jumped. For a second, I thought it was Tom. I had started sleeping with my phone in my hand, just in case. But when I opened the door, it was Alice. No makeup. Eyes red. Holding her laptop. She walked in without saying a word, sat on the kitchen stool and opened it. "You need to see this," she said, her voice cracking. It was a folder. Dozens of videos. All of them from Tom's old hard drive. He had backed up years of footage, apparently. And when they were together, she had access. She remembered his passwords, he never thought she'd need them again. What she found made her physically ill. He had done it before. Not just to me. 3 other girls. One of them his ex before Alice. One a girl who had once slept over during a party. The third? A random girl from class who had no idea he had filmed her in a changing booth at the gym. Alice showed me the timestamps, the folder names. Each one had been cropped, slowed, or edited to look suggestive or damning. None showed any sexual act. But they were just close enough to imply something to anyone not looking closely. And me? I had my own folder. K_Beach House. That bastard had saved it all. Alice was shaking. "I'm so sorry." I believed him, even for a second. I was so angry, I wanted to believe someone else had hurt me. But it was always him. He used me. I nodded, stunned, my throat completely dry. But now we had something real. We printed everything, dumped it all onto a second flash drive, and I called Lieutenant Barris directly. She told me to come in immediately. That same afternoon, I watched as she and another officer plugged it in and reviewed the contents. They didn't need long. Within 30 minutes, Barris looked at me and said, "Based on this, we're moving forward with a warrant for his arrest." I exhaled for the first time in days. That night, I stayed at Max's again. Nathan and I didn't speak much, but he didn't leave. He just sat beside me in silence as we watched a stupid comedy on Netflix, not really laughing, just sharing space. A small, fragile piece. The next morning, I got the text from Barris. "He's in custody. We'll need you to come in for a formal statement." I cried when I read it. And for the first time, it wasn't fear or panic. It was relief. Nathan took my hand. "You did it," he said softly. But I shook my head. "No. We didn't." "He did. And I'm not letting this end here. Because people still thought I was the one who cheated. The girl in the blurry video. The snake who betrayed her best friend. And Tom had already planted his version of the story online. He may have been arrested. But his damage was still out there. And I wasn't going to stop until I erased every trace of it." The arrest made headlines. Not national ones, obviously, but local blogs, university gossip pages, and even our campus newspaper picked it up within 48 hours. Student charged for secret recordings of classmates, harassment allegations emerge against engineering senior, and eventually, multiple victims of illegal surveillance come forward. They didn't name me directly. But anyone who'd seen the edited video knew exactly who the main victim was. That week, I barely left Max's place. Every time I stepped outside, I felt watched. Judged. Even when people weren't saying anything, they were. Whispering. Glancing. Wondering if I was really the liar Tom had painted me to be, or just one more girl caught up in drama. But then something happened that I didn't expect. Other women started reaching out. The girl from the gym, Eva, messaged me through Instagram. "I saw the article. That video he took of me. I didn't know he saved it. Thank you for coming forward." Then Rachel, one of Tom's old classmates, he used to follow me home. Once I caught him outside my building and he acted like it was a coincidence. I didn't report it. I thought I was overreacting. More messages. More women. Some from our university. Some from his hometown. And I realized, it was never just about me. It was a pattern. Meanwhile, Nathan and I were trying to rebuild, but the cracks were still there. He was quieter now. Careful. Almost guilty. One night, I finally asked what I'd been avoiding. "Do you still think I cheated?" He sighed. "No. I don't. But I did believe it, for a moment. And I hate myself for that." I nodded, holding back tears. "I get it. I wish you'd fought for me. Just a little harder." Silence. "Then, I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make up for it, if you let me." I didn't answer right away. Because part of me still didn't know if we'd survive this. Later that week, Alice and I were asked to testify for the preliminary hearing. It wasn't a full trial, just the judge deciding if there was enough to press full charges. We stood in a cramped courtroom while Tom sat there, clean-shaven, in a suit, acting like the perfect little victim. But when the footage played, his footage, the entire room went cold. The manipulation was undeniable. The judge didn't even hesitate. Formal charges, unlawful surveillance. Harassment. Attempted defamation. He was denied bail. Too high a risk. And that should have been it. But then, a few days later, someone leaked the unedited footage. The full, uncut version. It hit social media like a bomb. People started piecing it together, the edits, the lies, the framing. The comments shifted. Fast. Wait, she was literally sleeping the whole time. This guy needs to rot in jail. Why did I believe that edited trash? The tide was turning. But not everyone apologized. Some just vanished. Others left passive-aggressive "I guess we were wrong" messages. It wasn't satisfying. Because reputations don't reset overnight. And even when you're innocent, your name still bleeds. It's been 3 months since the court ruled in favor of a full trial. Tom is still behind bars, awaiting sentencing. He tried to appeal the charges, but the digital evidence was overwhelming. The prosecutor told us it's one of the clearest cases of tech-enabled harassment they've handled on campus in years. More women came forward, 5 in total. His family tried to paint him as mentally unwell, a troubled genius. But no one bought it. That should have made me feel victorious. It didn't. Because in the end, there's no real winner when someone drags your name through the mud, when your boyfriend stops touching you because he thinks you cheated, when your best friend screams in your face that you're a monster before realizing the real monster was her ex all along. I'm not angry anymore. Just tired. Nathan and I are still together, but things aren't the same. He's trying. Therapy. Long walks. Listening more than speaking. He asks before touching me now, even to hold my hand. And that hurts, in its own way. Because I never did anything wrong, but I still carry the guilt he projected onto me. Alice moved back in with her parents. She quit social media completely and is taking a break from university. We talk sometimes, mostly short voice notes. She says she feels like her whole identity got hijacked by someone else's sickness. She's not wrong. As for me, I decided to change majors. I was studying communications, dreaming of PR and social media campaigns. But now? I want to work in digital forensics. Cybersecurity. Something that gives me the tools to protect other girls like me. Because there will be others. That's the part that keeps me up. We live in a world where one video, cropped, edited, stripped of context, can destroy a person's life. And no one checks the facts until it's too late. I know now that the truth doesn't always scream louder than the lie. Sometimes it whispers. And you have to be the one to fight for it, even when no one believes you. Even when the people closest to you look at you like you're poison. Even when it costs you everything. Some nights, I still dream of that video. Not what it showed. But what it took away. My peace. My innocence. My trust. And I wish I could say I've healed. That I'm over it. But the truth? I don't even know who I am anymore.
Follow me for more stories.